The academic committee.
Before we start, we need to probably identify who's on the committee. The members of this academic committee consist of Dr. Catherine Dudley, here on my right, Ms. Carolyn Reinhardt, to the left down here, and Dr. Jim Carr over here. And of course, Madam Chairman is always ex officio, and then myself, Cherry Cash. So this consists of the committee that will be voting on these items. And the academic committee will now consider itself an official session. The committee will be considering items in your agenda book 4-1 through 9-1 for your viewing. And probably Mason will have additional information on the screens. So the first item we have is item number 4, which is a Master of Music Education by Arkansas Tech University. And Mr. Mason Campbell will provide background for this item.
Thank you, Dr. Cash. Agenda item number 4 is a new academic program at ATU. It's a Master of Music in Music Education. The proposed 30 credit hour program is designed to allow currently employed music educators to further their education while maintaining employment in their current K-12 teaching positions. The program will be offered 100% online and allow students to progress at their own pace. The program does include the addition of several new courses, but no additional costs for faculty, resources, and equipment are anticipated. One other MME program exists in the state, but it differs in modality from the proposed program. Our one formal objection was received and is included in the summary document. Anticipated enrollment begins at 5 students by academic year 2025, with 5 projected graduates anticipated by academic year 2027. And Dr. Jeff Bright is here to speak to your consideration of this program and respond to any questions from the board. Dr. Bright.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Bright. I'm the Department Head of Music at Arkansas Tech University. I'm also the Associate Dean of the College of Arts and Humanities. And I want to thank you for letting me have the opportunity to speak about what we think is a really exciting opportunity. And as Mr. Campbell said, unique to the state, and it's totally online. And I want to share a quick story with you to kind of personalize how we think this will have an impact in the state. I received a phone call last semester from an educator who was hired in an emergency position. They had a background in teaching music, but had not gone through a music teacher preparation program. And they called looking for some help, for some additional education opportunities to help them in their new position. And of course, at the time we didn't have anything, but we had something in progress, and they were very excited about that. So it's for this reason, it's for people that find themselves in this position that motivated us to look at presenting a program of this nature. Also, as you may know, certification in Arkansas in music is K-12. It's for music. It's not based on a particular speciality. So you could have a person who specializes in band also teaching choir in a district that doesn't have any background there. And so we feel like this program will be really beneficial for people who find themselves in that situation, who are teaching in a school district, who can't leave to go to a residential program because they want to keep that job. And of course, the districts want to keep them. It's hard to find people in these rural areas to teach and stay in these positions. So they want to maintain that employment so that they can continue on with that. So it's for that reason, it's that motivation that gave us the purpose for our program. And so that purpose is to provide professional development and credential opportunities for currently employed music educators, leading to improved job performance and additional employment opportunities. And so again, this is distinctive, we think, in the state because it's completely online. It's, I believe, the only music ed master's program in the state that will be offered totally online. Like I said, it's for students find my notes here. Designed for students who can't do residency programs, who need to maintain employment, but want that additional training. Also, we feel like it's going to be good for outside, of course, states that touch Arkansas. Our graduate degrees are going to be all completely in-state tuition. So we feel like this can have a broad reach across the region, not just in the state, but across the region. It will have an appeal for that. So we presented this to the National Association of Schools of Music, who's our music accrediting body. They looked at this in last November, and they have given plan approval for us to be going ahead to offer this program. There you can see there are some standards, some basic standards, advanced capacities for making artistic and intellectual judgments, developed advanced music education competencies, and gain knowledge and skills in some areas outside of the music education area, but unique to music. So that helped us develop our learning outcomes. And you can see those there. It's going to be a program founded in research. Also will address curriculum, allow participants to develop leadership qualities for providing curriculum leadership in their school districts back home. In various instructional situations, work on assessment so that they can measure student achievement to know if their programs are progressing and developing the students the way they need to be developed. Also additional pedagogical resources and continuing to develop their musicianship on an ability to communicate musically through their own medium, whether that be voice or instrument. So with those outcomes in mind, it helped us develop our curriculum, which is 30 hours. The core courses you see over there on the other side develop those outcomes that we're looking to address and fulfill the NASM standards and requirements. So under research, we've got an introduction to research class along with capstone project that will be done at the end. Curriculum and assessment class specific to music, pedagogy classes that address contemporary issues and applied music, private lessons to continue to develop their own personal musicianship. And then to address the broad nature, we've got theory and history courses represented. One of the great things that we feel about this program is it offers 9 elective hours of the 30, so students can really focus on the area that they need help with. So for example, if you're an instrumentalist and you're teaching in a district where you also have to address being able to teach choir, it will allow you to take some classes with our choir personnel to get those additional competencies to do a better job there. It also, this program will allow some professional development opportunities. I believe based on what I was able to do research-wise, 1 college credit can equal 5 professional development hours. So students, in addition to working towards a credential, can have the opportunity to develop, to fulfill their professional development requirement, yearly professional development requirement, based in a specialty area of music rather on general and broad areas that they might get back in their district. So I've got another slide here with our admission requirements, which are really basically inconsequential, except that I do want to point out that one of the requirements for admission is that you must have teacher licensure and previous teaching experience, whether that be in their internship. So this is not a program that's going to lead to certification in music. It's for teachers who are already certified. And so when we talk about who we're looking to draw from, we're looking to draw from people already in the profession, already out teaching, to give you that idea. So I think Mason talked a minute about the credentials and what we anticipate. This is a very conservative estimate. I think what I tried to do here was demonstrate how we could get to the program viability pretty quickly in this. We feel like once we have a chance to promote this program and word gets out about it, the enrollment will be much larger than what you see on the screen. The other thing I think is difficult to project is that, as you know, if we're geared towards teachers in the public schools, chances are they're not going to take the regular 9 hours of full-time master's credit. They're going to do it a course or two at a time. And so it's really difficult to project, when you get students in the program, how quickly they can matriculate through that and get to the credential. So that was a concern of ours in trying to figure out, how to present the enrollment credentials there. So just to summarize really briefly, we're very excited about this program because it's unique to the state. It's completely online delivery. It allows the participants in the program the opportunity to flexibility in designing their program. It gives students individual attention through private lessons, private pedagogy lessons, and it will allow them to advance to additional degree opportunities, whether that be specialist degree or a doctoral degree later on down the road. And so with that in mind, I'll open it up to any questions you might have about our program.
Questions or comments from committee?
I have some questions regarding the need for this.
Sure.
Anytime we receive a letter of opposition, we have to take that seriously and really try to dig in to understand why that's happening. And if this program is truly unique and if there is too much of an overlap, because we are at the end of the day a coordinating board. And looking at this proposal, I understand that it changes things with it being online. However, I kind of dug into the proposal and was looking at support for it. And I didn't find in the submitted application any formal letters of support. And when I looked at, there was a survey and there were 14 respondents on that survey. And you did have some that were currently enrolled students. You had some that were current teachers, but then a majority of the people who completed it were labeled other. Can you speak to how this survey was put
Sure.
out and who responded?
Sure. So what we did, we identified alumni of Arkansas Tech.
Okay.
And we sent the survey out, and I believe it was graduates within the last 10 years,
Okay.
understanding that perhaps teachers who are further on in their career probably aren't looking for this kind of opportunity. So we tried to target it to those we thought would be interested in a program like this. So current students and alumni that had graduated our music ed program within the last 10 years. Those were the respondents.
Was it just sent out via email to them?
Yes,
or? Okay. And looking at it, and I think what gave me the most pause was that kind of other piece, and I saw a couple retirees on there, I think. But 36% of the survey respondents that were submitted said they weren't interested in enrolling in a grad program.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, I mean, do you think that you're going to have truly enough of an overlap to warrant viability on this, and for when considering that you're so close to UCA and how many students they're graduating from this program on a regular basis?
So we feel good about the viability. I think, as you know, they've changed the way teachers are compensated, and one of the things that I wanted to prepare a slide based on how this might affect the compensation for, and as you know, I went and looked at a number of salary schedules in the state, and districts' current salary schedules really don't, they're non-committal about what they can do for people who get master's degrees. And so I don't know that I would attribute all of the people who were very unlikely as far as respondents. I think there's some hesitation to make an investment, not knowing that there may be a return on that investment. And so I don't know that explains all of that, but I think you know, when we started putting this together a couple of years ago and then they changed, I mean, that's a strong motivation is when you can earn additional compensation for your professional development. And it seems like that's kind of in limbo right now until districts kind of get their sea legs under them and know what they're going to be able to do with salaries in that regard. I think typically that, you know, beforehand and then looking at surrounding states, that can be anywhere from a $2,000 to $10,000 pay bump. So I feel like when people see how that's going to shake out, I think you're going to see those numbers get better. It's just a timing issue, I think, that hurts us with that.
And I agree with that, because looking at it, we're still trying to understand what LEARNS is going to do to impact salaries and things across the state. But the workforce analysis said that the average salary for this position would be about 56,000 a year on that. And so I go back to, because you're asking people to invest in themselves, and you're asking a lot of time and money to be in a program like this. Are you seeing that there's a shortage, or that schools are asking for more teachers with masters in music and are having a hard time finding applicants for that?
So I don't know that, I think what you're finding in schools is, it depends on their location, I think. And so I think the schools that are having trouble finding music teachers to fill those positions are the rural positions. And that's why I feel like doing something online is really going to help those situations.
No, I don't disagree. I think my big question, and it is, you said it, it goes back to a timing question, is will they be able to pay people for the additional education? Because if people are going to invest in themselves, we should be paying for them to do that, and we should be paying for their skills and education levels.
So one of the things that of course I'm aware of in my position is I have to go out and find adjunct teachers, and it's very difficult to find folks who have master's degree in music that can come and teach adjunct. So, we feel like also, in addition, they can supplement their income by being able to do, adjunct opportunities. We had one concurrent teacher teaching music for us in the public schools. We lost that person who actually took a position in higher education, and now we have none. And so this would open up the opportunity for us to find pathways for offering concurrent enrollment. I think also for music teachers who are wanting to advance in the profession, it's kind of like, I compare it to athletics in that, if you go to a particular school district, you might want to have the opportunity to move from an assistant to to the head director or to a bigger program. And so I think as far as these development opportunities, it gives people in areas in smaller school districts the opportunity to advance their education so that they can prepare themselves to move to positions like that, where they can have additional earning opportunities because there's additional stipend opportunities for head positions like that, additional contracted days, things of that nature. So it would allow them to help them in their career progression, I believe.
Thank you.
I had the same reservations our chairman had, and I guess they were made a little bit, not quite as negative, when I read the whole program's only going to cost $6,500. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
$6,500
believe that's
for this master's program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, based on our current tuition.
Well, one additional question. I noticed the proposed program funding would come through tuition and fees.
Yes, sir.
But when you look at projected enrollment, you only have 5 and 25 and 9 and 26, 8 and 27. That doesn't generate a lot of income. Is that the only income, new income that will be used to support this master's program?
For me, based on what I know, the answer to that is yes. The way we're able to do this is that what we'll do is, as I mentioned, we hire a number of adjunct. So what we'll do is our professors who are teaching courses that we could adjunct out will then move to teaching these master's courses. And so the cost of the instruction won't necessarily change in offering this program, because we already have those instructors teaching, being paid at that level, and we'll adjunct those courses out. That gives them that load to be able to cover that. So the fact that there's not a lot of revenue going in, it's not really going to cost us a lot based on the way we're going to distribute our load by using adjuncts to cover some of the courses already covered by our current faculty who will teach in this program.
How heavily are you depending on out-of-state students for this, since you are reducing tuition for them?
This projection was just based on Arkansas alone. So it's hard to say how many students we could get. We know that that the Texas market is a really hot market that we feel like we can make a lot of progress in to attract students. Of course, as a state institution, our intention is to serve the students and constituency in our state, but we also feel like speaking towards the viability that the committee's concerned about, which I wouldn't, that's certainly a concern, and we've thought about that. We feel like to continue to keep the program viable, we will want to address, we want to bring in some of those outside students from outside the state, and feel like, again, you look at Arkansas or Texas or even up into Missouri, you've got a lot of music teachers there who are looking at wanting to improve. And those states, based on what I could tell when I looked at their salary schedules, they are rewarding the master's degree at a higher compensation rate. So the return on their investment, basically, when you talk about the amount they're paying, it's break even after 3 years. And of course, over the career of a 27 to 30 year career, it's going to more than make up for the investment they make on the front side.
Dr. Cash, may I comment?
Sure.
When I looked at the full proposal and looked at, dug in, I had some of the same questions that you all are asking today. But what I would say is I would like to commend Dr. Bright on is that he's found a low cost way to stand up a graduate program using existing faculty and resources that looks to be about $6,500 a year cost to the institution. This looks like it would cash flow with 2 graduate students and everything after that. I do appreciate UCA pointing out the proximity and duplication. However, I think as a state, if we have a low cost, low risk program like this, and we have a net growth in graduates and master's degrees, that does help us as a state. I also think that programs such as the quality that Arkansas Tech has exhibited over the years with their program speaks to their merit. Also, opportunities for them to grow their own. So just to speak on behalf of, when we did our review, we did have some of the same questions, but I do feel like a low cost, low risk opportunity to stand up a graduate program, increase access to folks that are in proximity or recent graduates of Arkansas Tech or some of those beyond. The out of state piece, that is kind of hard to prove, but I think there's enough merit to it without that would be icing on the cake, if you will. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Okay, do I hear a motion to recommend the full board approval of this Master of Music and Music Education by Arkansas Tech University?
I so move.
All in favor of the motion signifying by indicating an aye vote.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. So approved.
Thank you very much. Thank
Right.
you for your time. Appreciate it.
The second item is Master of Science in Counseling by Arkansas Tech University, beginning on page 5-1 in your agenda book. And Mr. Mason Campbell will provide the background for that.
Thank you, Dr. Cass. If I might briefly, Dr. Poulter, the Chief Academic Officer at UCA, would like to make a quick comment before we move to the next one.
Thank you, Mason. Thank you, members of the board. Congratulations, Dr. Bright. I just want to say that as the CAOs, our responsibility is to represent our folks. And I want to say that I believe that this process worked exactly the way it should have. That I was able to represent the concerns of the Department of Music and the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. And Dr. Bright was able to answer every single question. And I see nothing that precludes us from creating more access for people. And you don't know this, but all my degrees are in music. So I see this as a win-win for all of us. And so I thank you for supporting this program, and UCA fully supports this opportunity for our Kansans and beyond. So again, congratulations to our colleagues at ATU.
Okay, agenda item number 5 is another new academic program at Arkansas Tech University, a Master of Science in Counseling. The proposed 60 credit hour program provides 2 tracks where enrolled students could specialize in either rehabilitation or clinical mental health counseling. Instruction would be provided in a hybrid flexible or high flex modality. Existing facilities and equipment used by the undergraduate rehabilitation science program will be utilized. 2 full-time positions, a fieldwork coordinator, and a tenured track faculty member will be hired, as well as planned advancement for an existing administrative assistant. 5 similar programs exist in the state. 1 formal objection was received, is included in the summary document. The program's enrollment is projected to be 15 students by AY25, with the first cohort of 15 graduates by AY27. And Dr. Tim Carter is here to speak to your consideration of the program.
Good morning, Madam Chairperson, members of the board. Thank you for allowing us to share about this information today. And thank you for reviewing this. I know it takes time to review programs, so I appreciate the academic committee for taking some time to review these. I want to share with you for just a moment about the reasoning behind this program. First of all, before I say that, I'd like to have Dr. Erica Wondolowski with me today, who is the undergraduate rehabilitation science program director, and Dr. Robert Stevens, who will be the graduate coordinator for this particular program. So if you have questions later, I'm going to defer some of those to them because they know more about the program itself, the internal working parts of it. So the first question I wanted to address today is why this program? Why did we decide to do that? Well, the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics reports that in the next 8 years that there will be an average growth for a need for rehabilitation counselors, but in the state of Arkansas, that growth is supposed to be around 18%. So there's a very high need for rehabilitation counselors over the next few years in the state. Secondly, with the mental health counseling, the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics over the next 8 years says that the national growth should be about 18%, which is substantial. It's much faster than average for an area. But then there's supposed to be 27% growth in Arkansas. So those are some of the pieces of data that we examine in order to think about this program. The third part of this I'd like to mention is according to the HPSA, mental health professional shortage areas in the state of Arkansas, as you can see from this chart, Hope County, where Arkansas Tech resides, this is the highest, one of the highest areas in the state of mental health professional shortages. So where Arkansas Tech resides, every county contiguous to us, with the exception of Van Buren, which is at the second highest level, is in the highest need for mental health professionals within the state. So we felt this program would help meet that need, particularly in our local area with the contiguous counties with us. One final aspect of this is we surveyed 35 of our students who are in our program currently in the rehabilitation science program. And of those 35, 34 showed some interest in the program, with about half of those showing a very high interest in the program. So there not only do we see some needs of market demands, but we also see some needs from our students that are in the undergraduate programs currently. So I'd like to share a couple of external benefits about the program. First of all, it addresses some of these local, regional, national mental health needs. And it also addresses this gap that we currently have in Polk County and the counties just surrounding us. Secondly, the student benefits. This is a hybrid modality, which is unique in the state. We will have offerings of online and face-to-face courses, and eventually hoping to have high flex courses where students can choose one of 3 modalities within the program. This will allow our students to prepare for national exams. There are 6 credit hours that already exist in other programs that will not have to be created, but that will seamlessly flow into those programs. And those courses are in a school counseling and leadership program, and some of the school counselors are very interested in more mental health training. So this will also open doors for them in this particular program. 3 other benefits. 12 of these credit hours will be offered through our accelerated bachelor's to master's. So in their senior year of undergraduate, they'll be able to pay the undergraduate tuition rate and achieve 12 hours towards a master's degree by taking these courses their senior year. So they'll be able to stack this directly in a master's program. The capstone experience allows for credentials or own research and graduation, and in-state tuition is for everyone. So if there are people from out of state interested in, because we also know the surrounding states have some needs in this area as well, this would be available with in-state tuition and may increase the number of folks, I shouldn't say folks, the number of people coming into this area as well. Finally, the curriculum design. There is an interdisciplinary core, innovative and integrative, with a different department working with us with this program. There will be online and in-person course delivery depending on the course. And then there's customization through focus areas, tracks, and a final capstone project. So before you is the mental health counseling curriculum, 60 hours, focus areas of clinical mental health counseling and addictions counseling. The second one is the rehabilitation counseling curriculum, which is also 60 hours. And I just wanted to make mention that the curriculum was submitted to the Commission on Rehabilitation Commission on Rehabilitation Counselor Certification and the Arkansas Board of Examiners. And they both said that these met established standards to allow people to sit for the test and to be able to be successful in tests. In addition to this, this helps Arkansas Tech reach our strategic goals. Goal 1 of our strategic plan, item 1, is to recruit new graduate students so they can increase their job opportunities. Goal 4, item 1, has to do with market demand. And this does meet a market demand, particularly in those counties contiguous to us. Goal 4, item 3, there is a stackable option in that they can start with accelerated bachelor's to master's and begin with that in the undergrad and move directly into the grad program. And then goal 5, item 1, there is interdepartmental work across departments for this particular program. The last 2 things I will mention are the cost and then the potential salaries for these students that graduate from this program. So initially the cost will be $28,761.04. And then over 3 years, you see it's $86,283.12. If we decide if the program's successful, which we expect it to be, after 5 years, we may seek K-CREP accreditation. This will cost about $2,500, and then it's $2,000 per site visitor. And then there's a yearly maintenance fee that you can see before you're there. As far as the salaries go, for rehabilitation counselors, the salaries are slightly below the national average presently. For the mental health counselors, they're slightly above the national presently. However, over the next few years, because of market demand and due to increases in these needs, particularly again around those contiguous areas around Polk County, there's an expectation that these salaries will begin to climb as we have a greater shortage of mental health professionals and greater needs, particularly following COVID and some of these other things that have happened recently. So again, thank you for allowing us to share. We're excited about offering this program. We think it'll benefit not only people for mental health counseling, rehabilitation counseling, we also believe it'll help school counselors to be able to have another track to gain some additional expertise in mental health, which is something that the U.S. Surgeon General has said is going to be a great need over the next 10 years. So again, I appreciate it, and I will take any questions. And I may need to defer to these two if the questions are really specific.
Okay, question, comments?
Dr. Carter, thank you for your presentation. I have always been a supporter of Arkansas Tech. I've been on this
Thank you.
6 or 7 years now.
Thank you.
You guys are doing great work down there. But I do have some concerns about this program. And my concern is that there are 5 schools in the state that offer a similar program now. And the largest institution that does is the University of Arkansas.
Right.
And their program is free to students, tuition fees, no tuition fees. And they tell us in their letter that they're having trouble getting students. Now, I know your program's unique because it's
Right,
hybrid,
right.
but is that enough to have a 6th program in Arkansas in this area?
That is a great question. I think due to the data of what we're seeing with the market demands and what is anticipated over these next 8 to 10 years, I do think this area is going to continue to have need for supply that we're going to have to meet. I am very concerned, just as somebody who lives in Polk County, lives in the Russell area, that the shortages in our area are at such a substantially high rate. And that our area, Yale County, Johnson County, all are at that high shortage area in the state of Arkansas. So I do see the need that we need to fill that niche there, because we're, in my opinion, in desperate need of having more mental health experts, particularly with what's happening right now in the culture and this particular generation that just went through COVID.
Dr. Cash, UA Fayetteville had a great letter of objection here, and ATU had a great response. I wonder if anybody is here from UA Fayetteville, who might have a response to their response.
I don't.
Anybody here from Fayetteville who can? Here comes the provost right now. Let him speak just a second.
Excuse me.
The response that we had was that, as you said, the recruiting in the rehab area, we have grants that covers the tuition, fully covers that. That as far as and we were only able to recruit this last year 7 of the available 11 positions that were fully funded in the rehab concentration. The response, I don't think actually answered that there was a low need for it in that area. I didn't see the response that it addressed that.
Did you see Fayetteville's response?
Our Fayetteville response? Yes, our response was that we didn't think there's a need for that because of the like I said, we had the grants that fully covered the tuition for those students, but the response from Arkansas Tech, I didn't see that it had actually addressed our concerns.
Good, thank you. Dr. Carter may have a response to that.
Yeah, and I do believe that within the next 8 years, the need for these positions are going to increase. And I realize we're in a certain point of time, so I'm not trying to take a snapshot of where we are now. I'm trying to think about the larger picture of where does this appear to be heading. And so I do believe from these sorts of data that we are going to need a greater number of mental health and rehabilitation counselors in our state in the next few years, according to the national data and according to these mental health professional shortage area data. So I understand the concern, but I also see what the data are saying, and I'm concerned that we're not going to be able to fill this need if we don't have this additional program.
In the designing the program, and you've shown where areas where it's needed.
Right.
Has the program been designed to where it's student friendly for them to start in your school and transfer to a school in Little Rock or in South Arkansas and continue? Or is it exclusive only to your school?
I'll need to defer to the individuals who created the curriculum. Is that okay?
Of course. Hi, Dr. Erica Wondolowski, Program Director. As it pertains to master's programs, most master's programs are unique
to each individual institution. And so the credits wouldn't necessarily transfer with the exception of our statistics course, maybe the lifespan developmental course, and some other courses such as those that are more in support of the overall tracks.
And I noticed it's a 60-hour program, which is pretty excessive for a master's degree. And you've also have the practicums into this as well as some internships.
Yes, sir.
Do they count as a part of the 60 hours?
Yes, they do.
How many hours is involved in the practicum and internship?
So the practicum itself, it would be 4 credits. And then the internship would be variable credits, so they can choose between 1 and 6. But they would still need to complete the 600 hours and the 240 direct contact as a part of that. As it pertains to the 60 credits, that is because to be licensed in the state of Arkansas, you have to have a KCREP-like program. And so KCREP expects a 60 credit program.
Dr.
And-
Cash, I'm wondering if there's anybody from those other 5 schools, if we could find out if they're having the same trouble recruiting
Yeah.
students as they do.
Numbers.
May I speak to that point?
Yeah.
I know that Dr. Carter had mentioned a lot of really great information. As it pertains to our students that are currently enrolled in our rehabilitation science program, our undergraduate program, we're finding that a lot of students, particularly those who graduate our program, go on to become mental health paraprofessionals, in that they can't become full professionals until they have that master's degree. Mental health paraprofessionals don't make much money. And so to move out of the general location of where our school is located to attend these schools would be very pressing on their pocket, even if tuition and fees are paid for. The moving expenses to attend an in-person program might be enough to turn them away.
Is there anyone here that you know of
I don't
that
know.
represents those other?
Anybody from any
5
of
or
the
6
5
programs?
schools that could speak about their difficulty?
Dr. Cash, I would offer, when we reviewed the program and the division, again, we did consider these things. I'm married to a mental health professional and one of those who, and have graduate degrees from both these institutions. So I'll start with that. And for the last 10 years, up until last July, I served on the board of the Guidance Center, the West Arkansas Counseling Guidance Center. It is extremely difficult to recruit and individuals with these credentials. I do think, I don't understand or don't know exactly why that the ones when their tuition and fees are free would not be attending those programs, but I do think that her point is correct about access to these programs, mental health paraprofessionals not making much money and trying to find a way to get them to access to that. And living in the River Valley for, most of my life, basically, there is a shortage there and it's real. And again, I think that if they're able to grow their own again with this, where they can pick up some hours in an undergrad and continue, that might be enough of a nudge to get these folks credentialed with the licensures they need upon their master's degree attainment to increase the overall pipeline that we need to address mental health needs. So in the totality of it, knowing that there are some opportunities or there are some obvious overlap, as you say, with a number of programs, we did feel that it's of merit. They've got a strong program now. There's some opportunities to help in mental health in our K-12 areas, which we know is a need. So I just want to say that we do feel good about the program.
And just to kind of echo what Commissioner Warren just said, we've talked a lot about these shortage areas, but in the full proposal, which you don't see in the book, is a number of letters of support from mental health agencies across the state asking for this as well. So.
We can get those. unlike the music education program, which costs $6,000, this one after 3 years costs almost $100,000.
Other comments, questions? Certainly raises some questions. I'm sure you've thought of most of these and probably have them worked out in your mind. We don't, so that's why we have to ask
Thank you.
them. Any other? If not, do I hear a motion to recommend the full board approval of the Master of Science in Counseling? Dr.
Also moved.
Consultant. Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all those that would favor this signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign?
Aye.
One opposed. You got that, Nicole? Okay, let's move to
Thank you.
agenda number 6. Technical certificate in skilled trades by Ozarka College. Begins on page 6-1 of your agenda. And Mr. Mason Campbell will also provide background for this.
Thank you, Dr. Cash. Agenda item number 6, new program at Ozarka College is the Technical Certificate in Skilled Trades. The proposed 30-hour TC incorporates basic skills in HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and general construction with the intent to give students a competitive advantage for entry-level positions. In addition, the program provides hours towards related training instruction or RTI for apprenticeships. It offers 2 embedded credentials, a 15-hour certificate of proficiency in basic construction and HVAC, and a 15-hour certificate of proficiency in basic electrical and plumbing. 4 different pathways to completion have been created for both high school students and traditional students. The proposed program will require 1 new full-time faculty member. Funding will be provided in part by the Office of Skills Development and by planned capital campaign. 7 similar programs exist in the state. The program's enrollment is projected to be 13 students by academic year 25, with 5 projected graduates within the same year and 12 projected graduates by AY 26, with steady growth following each year. And Dr. Chris Lorch is here to speak to your consideration of the program. Dr. Lorch.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here this morning to discuss with you what we feel is a really important program for our area. This program in particular is the direct result of our community coming to us with an expressed need and us responding to that particular need. So let me talk a little bit more about the need for a skilled trades program in North Central Arkansas. So Ozarka has campuses in Melbourne, Mountain View, and Ash Flat. We plan on beginning this program in the Mountain View area with plans to expand shortly thereafter. Now, your proposal indicated that there are some employment needs as far as filling gaps in employment. However, I want to share with you some additional data talking about need in the North Central Arkansas region. According to the 2023 labor market report from the Arkansas Division for Workforce Services, construction is a top growth super sector with a projected increase in enrollment of 10.5%. Additionally, HVAC installers and electricians are also top growth industries with increased employment of 16% and 13.6% respectively. We also conducted an employer needs survey just there in the Mountain View region. We surveyed 6 local employers. Those employers indicated potential wages of between $14 and $30 per hour and increases in needs of employees ranging from 3 to 30 in the next 2 to 5 years. You also have in the full packet letters of support from local government entities the mayor of Mountain View, the Stone County judge, and also the Mountain View School District. It's important to note that the Mountain View School District was really the impetus for this program. They came to us wanting more technical training for their students there in Stone County. We already do welding training as well as health professions training. They wanted more for their students. We engaged with our industry partners, and here we are today. So I want to talk with you a little bit more about the actual program that we are proposing. As Mason said, it's a 30-hour technical certificate, which provides students with basic construction, electrical, HVAC, and plumbing training. We've engaged with these industry partners that I mentioned before quite frequently throughout the process, and they were integral in helping us not only develop the curriculum, but also the curriculum sequence for this particular program. And they're confident that completers from this program will be very advantageously positioned to be good entry-level workers in their companies and also other companies within the region. As Mason mentioned, we are also partnering with the Office of Skills Development and the Department of Labor to establish apprenticeships in all of these areas, which will make this certificate a pre-apprenticeship program, which will help us seamlessly transition students into completing those hours. We also have, as Mason mentioned, a number of pathways. If a student starts this program as a high school junior, they'll finish it before they graduate. If they start as a high school senior, they'll finish it within one semester upon graduation. We even have a pathway for students already in the industry, allowing them to skill up. As far as the fiscal standpoint, I do want to share with you all that we have purchased a building in Mountain View to house this program and an expansion of our welding program. And it's important to note that our welding program, outside of all the other data that indicates growth, our welding program is giving us an indication of growth in the skilled trades. We started doing welding training in Mountain View about 2.5 years ago. We're already at capacity. Well, we're kind of beyond capacity. We're busting at the seams. We're running out of space. So we really feel that because we are having a lot of growth in this technical training area, that bodes well for other technical training areas as well. So we did purchase this building to house this program and welding to expand that. We were able to use institutional funds to purchase this building from our special project fund. We did get an initial commitment for startup funds from the Office of Skills Development for $193,000. Since submitting this proposal, we've had a number of other stakeholders and friends in the Stone County area come forward. And even without starting a formal capital campaign, we've already had commitments of over $300,000 to start up this program. We will be hiring one additional instructor to teach this program, but we feel even with modest enrollment projections, we'll be able to cover costs. Again, this was really driven by our community there in Mountain View. Our employer partners were integral in helping us create the curriculum, and they're excited about it. The district is excited about it, and so are our government entities. And with that, I'll answer any questions you may have about our proposal.
Okay, questions, comments we need?
I have a comment on this, just for the sake of full transparency. So in my day job, I serve Ozarka College as an economic development partner at their Ash Flat campus. And when they were starting to have this conversation, because Mountain View had already come to them, they also asked if there was a need in Ash Flat. And we provided a letter of support for this as well, because we do see multiple housing starts happening right now for the first time in a long time in North Central Arkansas, and projected population growth over the next couple of years. So I just wanted to make sure that I was fully transparent on my role in this proposal.
I noticed on the projected enrollment that you're depending on high school students heavily concurrently.
I don't know if depending is the right word. They play a strong role in that. So typically in all of our technical training offerings, whether that's this program or welding or automotive or even health professions, we have two sections running, one that's dedicated to high school students, our concurrent students, and then other for traditional. So they kind of fold in together. And I don't really, based on what we have going on with our other technical training programs, high school students really don't outweigh that traditional student population, but they do play a role, and that's why we differentiate that.
But I just noticed half your enrollment's coming from high school.
Yes, sir.
Based on the projection.
Yes, sir.
And I certainly support the concept. How close do they get to an electrical license on this? Do they even get close to it?
Somewhat close. I mean, they'll have to go through their apprenticeship hours to get there, but the good part about this program being categorized as a pre-apprenticeship program, they're not wasting any time going through this program. It's not like it's a prerequisite. Those hours will count for that licensure in this program.
Good. I think it's the thing we need. Any other comments, questions?
Make the motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. We approve it. All those favors indicating by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you all very
Thank
much.
Moving on to item number 7. The certificate of proficiency and technical certificate in automotive diesel mechanics by the University of Arkansas Community College at Rich Mountain. Finding this on page 7-1 in your agenda book. And we'll hear from Mr. Campbell again.
Thank you, Dr. Cash. A quick note, the agenda item does indicate that there is a single certificate of proficiency. That's an error on my part. It's actually 3 separate certificates of proficiency. So the slide in front of you is correct. And we'll update that in the board book after this meeting. Agenda item number 7, UACC Rich Mountain, a technical certificate and certificates of proficiency in auto diesel mechanics. The program will offer students 4 credentials, 2 8-credit-hour certificates of proficiency, a 12-credit-hour certificate of proficiency, and a 31-credit-hour technical certificate. And the embedded structure of this curriculum is designed to encourage employment at the earliest opportunity possible. The program will also be incorporated into the Career Center offerings for concurrent students. The institution will hire 1 new faculty member and purchase additional instructional equipment, all to be covered by grant funding. 2 similar programs exist in the state. Initial enrollment is projected to be 10 students in AY25, with 7 projected graduates within the same year, 18 projected graduates by AY26, and steady growth the following years. And Dr. Crystal Threlkill is here to speak to your consideration of the program and answer any questions.
Good morning on behalf of UA Rich Mountain. We are so pleased to be able to bring this program back. Our institution had this program up until it was suspended due to lack of enrollment, probably, I would say, almost 10 years ago. And what has happened is that in our area, all those folks who were working in diesel and automotive mechanics are retiring. And so we actually have no one to replace them. So we've been approached by the community, specifically the public schools, one place to start. And we have a letter of support there saying that they have no one to work on their buses. They have no one. We have several truck driving entities in the area that have no one to work on their trucks. And so this is just a continuing problem that we have. So we worked with a regional workforce grant and worked with Perkins funding to be able to put the institution in the right spot, to put up a building, have a way to fund everything through grant funding. And so we're very pleased to be able to offer 3 different certificates of proficiency, where if a student comes in, we suspect what's going to happen is they're going to start this program and immediately be hired out. So we've got stages in a ladder of education so that a student can continue to go to work. We've got it set up in our curriculum so that they can work and continue to go to school. We're hoping that this will be also picked up by Career Center, and we anticipate the high schools are already asking about it, and we're anticipating that we should have a robust enrollment beginning in the fall. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, comments? I think you're on the right road.
Well, we absolutely are. And road's a good way to put it. Thank you so much.
I do have a question on, in the proposal do you have any sort of salary information for, potential graduates for this program? Like-
Yes, actually, we that was part of it, what we brought up. It would range from beginning salary of 28,000 up to 59,000
Okay. So it would help.
within 5 years.
That's great. Because looking at it, I was learning a little bit more about your county, Polk
Mhm.
County, and learning about average wage. So it would be higher than the average
Yes.
wage, which is great. And also looking at some of your top employers, I think that this would actually really benefit some of them as well. Because you do have a couple of folks in the automotive industry and tool industry, correct?
Yes. Oh, yes.
So,
You are depending heavily on high school students to
Yes.
support this.
Yes, but what we're finding out is that there is such a need in the area.
Yeah.
It's much like what happened with our welding program and enthusiasm for that, that when the students figure out that there is money to be made, they absolutely want to get involved in that. And we have changed our program where they're able to come to school as juniors. So they'll have these certificates of proficiency and be well on their way even after the first year
Yeah.
as juniors in high school.
Good.
Anything else?
Any additional questions? Do I hear a motion that we recommend to the full board approval of the certificate of proficiency and technical certificate in automotive diesel mechanics by the University of Arkansas, Richmond?
So moved.
Second, all in favor saying aye,
Aye.
all opposed, with like sign? No opposition, so
Thank you so much.
thank you. Moving on to item 8. Technical certificate and paramedic by the University of Arkansas Community College at Rich Mountain. On pages 8.8-1 of the agenda book. Mr. Campbell again.
Thank you, Dr. Cash. This 40 credit hour program will train professionals to provide enhanced emergency medical care for patients in need of emergency treatment. The program will utilize existing resources such as the new EMT ambulance simulator and classroom. The institution will hire 1 adjunct instructor to teach in the program, and additional library resources and instructional equipment will be purchased. 11 other Arkansas public institutions offer a similar program, and all are viable. Relative distances to the UACCRM campus are listed in the agenda item. Initial enrollment is projected to be between 5 and 10 students in AY 25, with 5 to 10 projected graduates by academic year 2027. And Dr. Crystal Threlkill still here. Answering questions. Oh, so sorry. Yes, please introduce yourself. Yep.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kyle Carpenter, Associate Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs. I'm here to present this program. I really appreciate you all considering our technical certificate and paramedic. We're really excited about this certificate. It'll help us expand our allied health footprint in Western Arkansas, where there is a desperate need for people with knowledge, skills, and abilities in the healthcare field. We've discussed with employers in the region, including Southwest EMS, our ambulance system, as well as the MENA Regional Health System. They both gave enthusiastic support for this program because they need people with skills. And the paramedic program provides skills. In addition to demand, you'll see the return on investment for students is quite high. Students coming out of the paramedic program at base should make about $29,000 a year, but that's in the beginning. They could make up to over $50,000 a year. So we think for the students as well, it'll be beneficial. It'll be beneficial for our community. The demand for paramedic is relatively high in Western Arkansas as well as across the state. The Bureau of Labor Services is anticipating at least a 5% growth over the next 10 years in this field. And then just as a one-off yesterday, I did an Indeed search for paramedic in Arkansas and it hit 85 hits. So I think there's a relative reliable demand as well. So I appreciate you all considering this, and I'm happy to field any questions you have.
Comments, questions? What hospitals do you work with down there?
I worked with the MENA Regional Health System in Mena. And then we also have down the road Healthy Connections, which is a really important clinic in the region that we got support from.
Well, there was one that closed and then it reopened down there. Which one was that?
Is that the one in DeQueen you're talking about?
The hospital.
Yeah, down south of us in DeQueen.
I see there are 11 other programs. Are there enrollments full, similar to yours?
Enrollment has been good in those other programs as far as I know, looking at them. We hope to meet that. That's why I put in that conservative 5 to 10 range for our enrollments.
One thing I was surprised about when looking at your county statistics is one of your largest employers is an ambulance service, a paramedic, and you don't see that very often. And so for me, I know that we do have some other programs, but just seeing on your top 10 employers for the county, the ambulance service, and obviously there's a wide footprint it's serving throughout the region.
I think that ambulance service services 5 counties. That's huge. That's massive. So they have a widespread reach. So they have to have people everywhere so they can get to those emergency situations. So they do need those people with the skills to help. Thanks.
Other comments, questions? Take a, do I hear a motion then to recommend to the full board approval of the technical certificate? Paramedic, University of Arkansas. Okay, second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All the like sign. Fully approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to item number 9. And this is the Institutional Certification Advisory Committee. Resolutions beginning on page 9-1 of the agenda book, and Alana Coburn is going to give us the background. Okay.
Good morning. The agenda item number 9 lists the new program applications from out-of-state institutions. We have 3 institutions, 2 from California and 1 from Arizona. They're applying for certification for 16 degree programs. All these programs meet the requirements of Arkansas law and board policy, and ADHE staff recommends your approval of this agenda item.
Is most of this done by internet?
Oh, it's all, yes.
All of it?
This is all distance.
This deals with outside things. Any comments or questions on this? If not, then let's hear a motion to recommend to the full board approval of this Institutional Certification Advisory Committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Wait a minute, we need a motion and a second first.
I'll move.
Oakson, second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, approved.
Thank you.
Now we move to information items number 10 and 11. And Ms. Tracy Harrell will provide the background for these information items.
Good morning. Agenda item number 10 are the letters of notification that ADHE Academic Affairs staff has received since the October board meeting. Letters of notification are reasonable and moderate extensions of existing approved certificates and degrees. They have been reviewed and approved by the Commissioner of ADHE, but must be included in the board agenda prior to initiation. As you can see here, we have 20 Arkansas public institutions submitted letters of notification, resulting in 152 changes to 128 unique programs of study. So these are not all the potential changes that an institution could request. These are just the ones that we received. So as you can see here, curriculum revision, new certificates, and program inactivations were the top requested action. The full comprehensive listing of each of these letters of notification are in your board book. Even though this isn't a action item, I'll be happy to answer any questions should you have them.
Do you have any follow-up on what enrollment and enrollment with these out-of-state institutions?
That would be, these are all the changes that are made to in-state programs. Out of state would be Ms. Colburn.
Okay, all right. So you're only dealing with the in-state here.
Yes, sir.
Questions?
Okay.
If there are no questions, then do I hear a motion to adjourn from our academic session?
One more. I have agenda item number 11. It's okay. So agenda item number 11 are the letters of intent received from Arkansas Public Institutions. Since the October board meeting, we've received only 2 letters of intent. These indicate institutions' future plans to either offer a new program, a new degree, a new off-campus location, or the establishment of a new organizational unit. This again is not an action item, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I see where the Alice Law School of Medicine is listed under out-of-state institutions. Is that correct?
Ms. Colburn deals with it.
Yes. That is because it falls under the category of a private institution, and Arkansas law and board policy divides the public institutions and private institutions in that way. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're considered, they are governed by the same policy and law as an out-of-state institution would be.
There ought to be a different heading for that group. I hate to
Okay.
consider all the private universities out-of-state institutions.
Okay, we can work on
Yeah.
that. We can change that.
Any other questions? I'm sorry for jumping ahead there. Since we have no vote on this for approval, it's a matter of moving to a motion to adjourn from our academic committee. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All approved, all opposed by like sign. So we are adjourned from our